Magandang araw. So, today will be our first online discussions for mechanics of deformable bodies. So, today, itutuloy lang natin yung ating discussion last Tuesday. So, sample problems tayo starting with sample problem number 4. So, we have here a rectangular wood panel which is formed by gluing together two boards along a 30-degree seam as shown in the figure. Determine the largest axial force P that can be carried safely by the panel if the working stress for the wood is 1,120 psi and the normal stress in the glue are limited to 700 psi. So we have two working conditions. So ito lang yung capacity ng wood. So unahin natin yung una. Sabi niya dito, the working stress for the wood. So, yung capacity lang ng ating wood na i-carry ay 1,120 psi. Whereas yung capacity naman ng ating glue is 700 psi. So, let me draw the figure. So, this is our wood. May applied force P on both sides. So, hinihila natin siya, pinaghihiwalay natin siya. And then, meron 30-degree seam dito na dugtungan. So, meron tayong dalawang wood na naka 30-degree seam. Now, we have to imagine kung paano to magpe-fail because yung area kung saan nangyari yung failure, sila yung nakaka-experience ng stress. Okay? Yung isang area kasi, hindi sila masisira or hindi sila magbe-break kung hindi sila nakaka-experience ng stress. So therefore, we have to imagine ano ba yung mga possible scenarios na pwedeng masira itong wood. The first scenario is, sabi ko, if sobrang tibay nung ating wood glue na ginamit, yung glue mismo, sobrang tibay na ayaw niyang masira, possible ang mangyari sa wood natin, magkaroon ng cracking dito. Okay? Pwedeng dyan masira yung ating wood. Okay? Now, another failure is kapag naman sobrang weak ng glue natin, ang mangyayari dyan, maghihiwalay yung ating wood dito sa dugtungan. So, there are two possible failure na pwedeng mangyari. Yung itong failure na to, pag naputol yung wood or nabiyak yung wood, ang capacity ng ating material ay 1,120 psi. Pag naman, doon sa glue nangyari ang failure, mangyayari ang failure natin kapag na-reach natin yung 700 psi na stress doon sa glue. So, unahin natin i-analyze yung sa wood kasi very lang to, direct to the point. So, failure tayo on wood. So, pagka yung wood mismo yung nag-fail, okay, ang mangyayari sa atin is, let me draw the figure. Upper half na lang siguro yung ito-drawing ni sir. Kunin natin yung bottom side para yun yung ipakita natin na area since siya yung naka-experience ng failure. Okay. So, ito yung bottom side, yung side na to, this side. Okay. Itong side na to yung dinodrawing ni sir. So, dito sa ibabaw, dito yung putol. So, meron tayong force P dito by section. Okay. So, yung force P na yan yung nagkokos kung bakit yung area na to, this area, ay hihiwalay dun sa bottom side niya. Okay? So, mahahati dito at merong may iwan dito. So, ito yung pinag-uusapan natin yung nasa babang side. And according to the figure, the dimension of this area is meron tayo daw width na 1 inch. Then, meron tayong long dimension na or length kung tawagin na 4 inch. Therefore, yung area na nagre-resist sa P is just 4 inch by 1 inch. So, the area is just 4 inch by 1 inch. Ito yung area na nagre-resist para hindi masira yung wood. Okay? Now, Pag compute ng stress, that is just P over our area, which is according to the problem, ang capacity lang ng wood natin ay 1,120 PSI. Yan lang yung kaya niyang i-carry. So yung 1,120 PSI na to, that would be equal to P, which is yung hinahanap natin, multiplied over the area na 4 inches square. So our P here will be 4,480 pounds. So that is the force na kailangan para masira yung wood on this failure mode. Okay? So this is based on the capacity of the wood. Pwede nyo rin sabihin tong based on the capacity of wood. Okay? Next part, we have here, puntahan naman natin yung isa pang failure. Paano naman kung ang failure ay nasa glue? So failure on the glue. Ibig sabihin, maghihiwalay yung ating member. Okay? So, yung upper half, yung mismong upper half, hindi na ito, ito na ang pinag-uusapan natin. And then, ito. Now, pwede nating iwanan yung upper half, pwede yung lower half. Siguro yung lower half na lang para mas madali yung ma-visualize. Last time kasi, ang i-discuss ko using the upper half, kailangan nating mag-force triangle. Tingnan natin dito kung ganun pa rin yung scenario. Oops, maiksi. Okay. So, this is the lower half. Meron pa rin tayo ditong 30-degree seam. Alright. Okay. Now, yung force natin is meron tayong naka-applied na vertical force, P. But take note, kung ang failure natin ay paghihiwalay ng glue, breakage ng glue, therefore ang area ang nagre-resist niyan ay itong wood area. Di ba? So, hindi naman pwedeng hindi yan yung magre-resist kasi siya nga yung nag-fail. Therefore, siya yung nagre-resist ng load. Kung ito drawing natin to inside view, mahirap kasing i-visualize dito. Gusto ko lang maipakita sa inyo kung ano yung itsura pagka naka-ISO. Ayan. So, meron ta rin tayong force P dyan. Pero take note, sabi sa atin, ang normal stress dapat perpendicular sa area. Kung naka-incline yung area natin, therefore the force acting on this is dapat perpendicular dito. That is P sub N. Okay? So, sorry, the direction is wrong. It should be tensile kasi pinaghihiwalay natin siya. We are not compressing it. So, this is our PN. Hinihila natin siya. Normal direction. Magkakaroon din tayo ng component dyan. Tawagin natin CV. Okay? So, CV is the shear force na nangyayari dito. Okay. Now, sabi natin, since this is 30 degrees, NPN and PB supposedly ay sila ay right angle or perpendicular. Therefore, ang may iwan sa atin dito is 30 degrees. Lilipat siya sa taas. We did some discussion about this last time. Okay? So, therefore, we can say but using our force polygon, pwede tayong mag-force polygon. We have here our P. Okay? Upward. Then, I apologize for the direction of PB. It should be towards outside. Okay? So, PB is towards dito. This is our PV. Then, meron tayo ditong PN. Ito ay 90 degrees. at ito naman ay 30 degrees. So, meron tayong right triangle. Pag iniredraw natin ito ng nakatayo, kung nalilito ka ng naka-incline yung right triangle natin, i-drawing natin ng nakaayos. Okay? So, yan. Ito yung resultant P natin. These are the component PN and PB. So, dito, pwede natin sabihin na since ito ay 30 degrees, we have an adjacent and a hypotenuse. So, we can say that cosine 30 degrees is equivalent to adjacent side PN over the hypotenuse P. Therefore, PN is P cosine 30 degrees. Okay? So, that is our force. Now, puntahan naman natin yung area. That is one component of our calculation. So, dito, ang thickness natin ay 1 inch. At ang alam nating lapad nito ay 4 inch. Okay. Pero take note na naka-inclined yung area natin. So, hindi pwedeng 4 times 1. Kailangan natin kunin yung length ng inclined plane na ito. Let's call it length. Para malaman natin kung ano yung area ng rectangle na to. So, from the triangle, we can say na meron tayo ditong right triangle ulit. This one is 30 degrees. Ito ay length L. Iyon yung hinahanap natin. And yung nasa bottom side is 4 inches. Okay. So, again, similar sa kanina, meron tayong adjacent, meron tayong hypotenuse. So, cosine 30 degrees is equivalent to the adjacent na 4 inch over L. Therefore, L is 4 inch over cosine 30 degrees. So, our area now that nagre-resist nung normal force PN is actually 4 inch over 4 cosine 30 degrees times yung outing thickness na 1 inch, this one. Okay? So, therefore, the area is just simply, sorry, ba't nagka-random 4 dito? Okay? This is 4 inches squared cosine 30 degrees. Okay, so from here, we can now calculate our stress. Sasabi natin, the stress on the glue is equivalent to P cosine 30 degrees over 4 inches squared over cosine 30 degrees, or that is P cosine squared 30 degrees over 4 inches squared. So that will be equal. According to our problem, it is only limited to 700 psi. So therefore, we can now get the value as 700 times 4 over cosine 30 squared. What we have is 3733.33 pounds. So that is our P. Okay. Now, we have two values of P. The question is, sino yung pipiliin natin? If we are talking to the largest allowable force or load, hanggang saan lang yung kaya, ang pipiliin natin ay yung smaller. Okay? So, in this case, our P is 3733.33 pounds. Okay. Now, if ang tanong sa atin ng problem is hindi yung largest allowable force, pero ang sinabi lang, largest force carried. Ibig sabihin, hindi given sa atin yung allowable force. Ang hinahanap nito ay yung calculated or actual. Then, ang pipiliin nyo ay yung largest. The difference between the two is, dito, meron tayo ng given na working stress, working strength, or capacity. Kailangan na lang natin mamili ng load na kaya lang niyang i-carry. Dito naman, possible ang mga tanong ay kailangan natin pumili ng section, okay, para doon sa load. Let's say, sabi ng problem, find, sabi ng problem is, yung beam daw nagke-carry ng 100 kN, find a section. Okay? So therefore, yung 100 kilonewton na yon, that is the force. There are instances kasi na yung beam natin hindi lang siya nagke-carry. Let's say may instance po ma-discuss ko na lang din para malinaw sa inyo. May instance na may multiple loads na i-carry yung load natin. For example, condition 1, ang kine-carry niyang load ay nandito lang yung ating uniformly distributed. Condition 2, nandito naman yung load. Okay? So there are several instances kung saan may different conditions of loadings. So pagka ganon, ang pipiliin natin is yung maximum kasi i-design natin yung structure to the maximum load. Pero kung pipili lang tayo ng capacity load niya, ano lang yung kaya niyang dalhin, pipiliin natin yung mas mababa, yung akma lang sa lower strength niya. Okay? So our answer here is yung 3733 pounds. Next, we have here sample problem number 5. Sabi dito, two solid cylindrical rods A, B, and BC are welded together at B, loaded as shown. So determine the magnitude of force P for which the tensile stress in the rod AB has the same magnitude as the compressive stress in the rod BC. Okay, so meron tayo ditong force system na meron tayong tensile load P which is unknown. Then meron tayong dalawang 30 kips on the edge of our connections between AB and BC. Now, since may 30 kips tayong dalawa, pag pinagsama ko to, ang resultant nila sa gitna ay 60 kips para maging axial. Sabi natin, kailangan natin silang i-treat as axial. So, yung dalawa na to, they are producing hindi pala to couple, but they are eccentric. Okay? Pero since nagigbabalanse sila, nagiging sila, axial lang din na 60 kips. Okay? Now, by method of section, we can say that yung ating force dun sa AB is equivalent sa P, which is tensile. Okay? Then, we have the force on BC. Kapag kinat naman natin yung section na to, we can assume that P is larger than 60 kips. That is the condition. Assuming that P is greater than 60 kips. Ibig sabihin, kung P is greater than 60 kips, mas malaki yung value ni P, our force here will be towards this direction. Therefore, this is our PBC. Okay? So, our PBC is P minus 60 kips. Okay? So, we have two force condition. Okay lang yan, any assumption. Kung ang i-assume na naman is P less than 60 kips, so baliktad naman yung direction ng force nito pag ganun naman. Okay? Pero, actually may sinabi yung problem na miss out natin. Sabi dito, may tensile stress in rod AB tapos compressive naman sa rod BC. So, let me redraw this. So, meron parang correct assumption na ibinigay sa atin yung problem. Sabi ng problem, pag nag-cut daw ako ng section dito kay member BC, meron maiiwan sa aking compressive force na PBC. Okay? Whereas may applied load dito na P, then meron ditong 60 kips. Pwede nyo ilagay dito yung force, pwede rin naman dito, pwede rin dito nyo ilagay. Okay lang din ha? Okay, pareho lang yun. Okay? So, since compressive, we can say that that P is less than 60 kips, mas mababa sa 60 kips. Okay? So, PBC is equivalent to 60 kips minus P. Okay? So, ilagay muna natin na 60,000 para pounds yung makuha natin, naka-base unit tayo, minus P. So, this is our force. According to the problem, dapat equal daw yung nararanasan nilang stress. Yung stress daw sa AB ay equal din sa stress sa BC. Therefore, we have here ang stress natin sa AB, that is P, over ang ating diameter ay 2 inches. So, this is pi over 4, 2 squared. And that is equal daw sa ating namang compressive stress sa BC, which is 60 times 10 to 3 minus P over the area is pi over 4, 3 squared, pi d squared over 4. So here we can now solve for the value of P. Pwede na nating alisin yung pi pi over 4 rather. So we have alpha x over 2 squared, alpha equal to 60 times 10 raised to 3 minus alpha x over 3 squared. Shift solve na lang tayo. So we have here P equivalent to 18,461.538 pounds, or that is equivalent sa 18.46 kips. So this is our answer for this problem. So medyo madali pa to. Okay? Next one is what we have here. So sabi dito, the actual force in the column supporting the timber beam shown is P equal to 20 kips. Determine the smallest allowable length of the bearing plate if the bearing stress in the timber is not to exceed 400 psi. So ang meron tayo, una, the allowable stress lang natin, 400 psi. And then the value of P is 20 kips. Now, for our system, meron tayo ditong poste na may applied load P, tapos may nakapatong na timber sa ibabaw. Tapos may ito yung tinatawag na bearing plate. So si bearing plate, ang goal niya is i-distribute yung force para hindi maging punching. Kasi kung ito ay walang bearing plate, bubutasin lang ng column na bilog yung ating mismong timber. Okay, so ano yung magiging itsura ng deformation nito? Paano magde-deform ito kung merong bearing plate? So ang mangyayari sa side view, ipakita ko na lang sa side view ano. Gawa tayo ng rectangle. Medyo lakihan natin. Then palitan ko si eraser no. Gawa tayo ng wood. Ang mangyayari dyan is yung ating bearing plate possibly ayaw niya bumaba. Ayan. Okay, possibly ang mangyari dyan, yung ating bearing plate is pumasok doon sa tube kasi merong force P na tumutulak sa kanya dito. Okay? Tinutulak siya ng force P dito sinisiksik siya. So, ang mangyayari doon sa wood, magkakaroon ng notch dito sa area na to. Okay? And, yung area na yan, syempre, ang nagre-resist na load niyan is yung bearing area. Ano yung bearing area natin? Pag i-drawing ko naman yung ating top, front view, bottom view in this case pala, this one, this bottom side, okay, ito naman yung ating bearing plate. Pwede mag-insert mo. Ito naman yung ating bearing plate. Ito yung nakapasok. Therefore, ang area na nagre-resist sa bearing sa wood ay the same area as the bearing plate. Yung area na to ng bearing plate, siya yung nagre-resist ng bearing force. So in this case, according to our problem, this is 6 inches and hindi natin alam kung ano yung ating length ng bearing plate. So this is an example of a design. Okay, nagdi-design na tayo ng dimension ng bearing plate para hindi natin or ma-minimize natin yung failure, hindi mangyari yung ating bearing. Kasi pag na-reach natin yung 400 PSI, magsisimula ng mag-notch or mauka yung ating timber. Uukain na ito ng bearing plate. So dapat hindi raw natin maabot ito para safe yung ating condition. So sabi natin that our bearing stress is equivalent sa force na nagkukos ng bearing over the area of bearing. So this is just simply 400 psi, that is equal sa 20 kips or 20 times 10 to 3 pounds divided by the area of bearing is 6 inch times L. Hindi natin alam yung value ng L. Therefore, L is 20 times L is 8.3 33 inches. Now, kapag ang nasa choices ninyo ay let's say letter A, 8.3, letter B, 8.4, letter C, 8.1, letter D, 8.2. Okay. Pagka ang pinag-uusapan natin sa designing ng members or ng elements is dimension, okay? Since dito dimension ang pinag-uusapan natin, we will choose the largest, okay? So ito ang pipiliin ninyo, 8.4 kasi kulang si 8.3, kulang na yan. Pag isinubstitute natin si 8.3, kapag ginawa natin ito, so we have 20 times 10 to 3 over 6 times 8.3, that would be 401.606. So, mas malaki na ito, greater than the capacity. Kung mas mataas na to sa capacity, magsisimula ng umukit yung ating bearing plate doon sa wood. Magsisimula na siyang bumaon. Okay? Magde-deform na yung ating wood. Pag ang pinili nyo ay 8.4, ang makukuha nyo ditong stress is 396.825. So ito, safe. Since less than siya doon sa ating working stress. So therefore, we can say that this is safe. Okay? So ganun tayo pumipili ng section. No, okay, take note, hindi naman ko mo ganun yung konsepto. Pipiliin nyo na, sir, ba't hindi natin piliin si 8.1 kasi siya yung pinakamababa. Si 8.2 ganun din, sir, mas mababa si 8.2, di siya na lang. Pag pinili naman natin ito, hindi naman natin na ma-maximize yung potential ng material. Okay? Yung material may kaya pa siyang i-carry, pero since gusto mong masyadong maging conservative sa iyong design, hindi mo na siya kinonsider yung capacity pa na yon. Ang kinuha mo lang is around 380 out of 400. That is good. Meron kang factor of safety. Okay, in terms of safety, that is good. But economic-wise, hindi siya good. We have to balance the economy and the safety kasi. Okay? So, dapat ma-maximize natin yung capacity ng material. Okay? Next. Siguro that's it muna for this first part. Let's see each other on the second part.